Sid, we're in a lot of trouble.
True genius is rarely rewarded within its lifetime.
Sid, I know it was you who increased the neural sensitivity calibrations. You murdered that prisoner. And now they have to shut you down.
Can't change what I am, Daryl. I'm a 50 terabyte self-evolving neural network double backflip off the high platform. I'm not a swan dive. And I have to tell you, killing for real, it was a real rush.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Have you ever been in an institution? Cells.
Cells.
Do they keep you in a cell? Cells.
Cells.
When you're not performing your duties, do they keep you in a little box? Cells.
This causes it. This causes it. This causes it. Information overload. All the electronics around you poisoning the airwaves.
You are listening to the High Tech Low Life podcast, a cyberpunk media retrospective. High Tech Low Life contains themes and language not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the criminally underwatched High Tech Low Life podcast with your hosts, Eric and Josh. I'm Eric.
And I'm Josh.
That was the rave reviews of one discerning person of taste and class that they said on one of our YouTube videos. And I agree personally. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for that comment, random person.
Yes.
We're back. It's been a while. We're going to be back for a couple weeks and then take another break. It's going to be a little spotty here for the next couple months, but not as spotty as it has been because we're going to try to get stuff out as frequently as possible.
Hey, do we know, did that commenter on the YouTube, did he kill the Tsar and his ministers?
Man, I got it. I got the reference.
Yeah. Classic rock references. Kids love it.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, we got, let's get into it. We're going to keep this to a tight 90, obviously, like we always do, but we've got a lot to talk about because it's been a while. We talked a little bit about it on our sister show, Creek of the Week, that dropped last week.
Yeah.
If you're into Dawson's Creek, check it out.
Which I hope you are. You should be.
I give people a pass.
I mean, I do too, but they should give it a shot. I mean,
it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good show. The problem is I said you should give Dawson's Creek a shot. You shouldn't necessarily randomly give Creek of the Week a shot with no frame of reference for Dawson's Creek.
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like moving from this show to Creek of the Week is probably an easier transition than our Creek of the Week listeners moving over to this one.
True.
Does that make sense?
It does. And many of them did, and we appreciate them for that.
Yes, we do.
But anyway, how have you been over these last few months? Well, 1 month, I guess, since the last episode.
Oh, is that all it's been? Yeah.
Probably about that, yeah.
Yeah. I've been all right. I went back to the desert. I did desert things, turned to leather. Still cannot be killed. Bought
Stole a van to get there. I think I made that joke already. Never mind.
Yeah. Bought $400 worth of extension cords.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really wish you told me I have $400 worth of extension cords I'm not using.
Are they 100 feet long and 10 gauge?
No, probably not.
See, that's what I needed. Yeah.
I've got a big bag of them because every time I need one, I just go buy a new one and then I throw it in the bag and forget about it the next time I need one.
Yeah, these are at the Rock Shelter site. We have a lot of fans, vacuums, and lights that all run off a generator. Huh. So, and the generator has 2 plugs on it. So we have to run heavy gauge electrical cords that are 100 fucking feet long. And those are expensive and heavy.
Yeah, I bet they are. We'll talk about that in our new upcoming podcast, Extension Cord Cast.
All right, sure. Yeah, it's coming up.
I could talk about it.
We could.
Although I have pretty much fully migrated over to cordless, and it has made life a lot easier.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Any stories worth regaling us with? Any discoveries made? Or
I'm trying. We found some really neat shit. Sometime between now and probably Thanksgiving, I'm probably going to be making minor appearances on a nationally broadcast Sunday morning TV show.
And that show is America's Most Wanted.
Is that a Sunday morning show?
It's not a show at all anymore, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Actually, I think they brought it back a couple of years ago. Like
they brought back
Netflix
Unsolved
or
Mysteries.
Something. Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. They did go hand in hand back in the day.
Yeah. CBS Sunday morning.
Ooh, even more exciting.
Yeah. Well, tell all your 70-year-old relatives to check it out. You know the guy in the pink shirt.
Did you get interviewed? Do you think your interview will show, or
I talked to him a little bit. I doubt they'll use any of mine because it was what they were asking me was pretty technical.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine anybody in the public giving enough of a shit.
Well, everybody who listens to this show knows that when it comes to technical details about things you're interested in, you're a man of brevity.
Yeah, I mean it's great. My first line was introduce myself and I shoot lasers at things. Pew pew. So
yeah. Well, I'll be looking. Well, no, I'll be waiting for you to send me a link to it, and then I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, I don't know how you. I guess I'd have to get an antenna. I don't know.
Yeah. You get like 36 channels if you get an antenna.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And they're all like playing bad movies from the 80s. Kind of like what this show does.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we haven't talked about what we're doing today. It's a little movie from 1995 called Virtuosity, and I'm going to save how I feel about it until we actually get into it.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
There's a lot of blue goo. We'll say that about it.
Not to be confused with the Jamiroquai song Virtual Insanity.
Yes. Don't ever confuse the two, you son of a bitch.
Also, don't ever confuse the band name Jamiroquai with the guy in the fuzzy weird hat. That is Jamiroquai's Monster.
All right. Also, it just started dumping rain here. I don't know how you're doing over there.
It was looking pretty cloudy when I was outside with the dogs a few minutes ago. We'll see.
Hoping no goddamn power outages, which our county is known for.
Hey, they've been doing really great recently. Cross fingers.
All right, so there's one dystopia talk that I feel like we have to discuss. A lot of stuff has happened. We could get into it for hours and hours. We're not going to. What I want to talk about is how utterly brain-bendingly insane the Twitter rebrand is. I can't figure out why anybody would do that, even like a really dumb person. It's so dumb. It makes me think, like, does he know something we don't? But I know that's not the case. I know it's just dumb.
Yeah, it's just dumb. Although I did see someone, a screenshot of somebody saying, Elon playing 4D chess. The SEC is so mad at him about all his tweets. Now he doesn't have any more tweets. It's no longer Twitter. Like, yeah, I think the SEC might be able to see through that. I'm not sure.
Big brain going on in that.
Yeah.
In that comment.
Some real galaxy brain shit.
If you're not on Twitter, smart.
Good for you.
Smarter than both of us. You've nailed it there. It has recently rebranded to, I guess, X Corp, X
Sure.
app. He hasn't. It just changed the logo from the Tweety Bird to an X. It looks really.
Now it says post instead of tweet. I don't know.
Does it? It didn't earlier when I checked it. Yeah. It still says so and so retweeted when they repost something.
Oh, I hadn't noticed, but
I don't. For one thing, if you're gonna rebrand, don't half-ass it. Like, get all that shit in order and then do it. it really feels like he just like sits up in the middle of the night and says, X, change the logo. And then they change the logo, and then they have to slowly trickle in all the other changes. It doesn't, I hate it.
See, the insane thing is that this was not a middle of the night thing. He has been going on about X for literally 25 years. He's
obsessed with it.
He wanted to change PayPal to X when he was partial owner of that.
His rocket company is SpaceX. He's named his kid X. He's so horny for that letter.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And also, they've recently placed the X sign atop the Twitter headquarters,
which looks great. Just it's a high quality piece of work that is definitely not interfering with the life of the people in the city at all.
Just blasting epilepsy into the residential apartments across the street from it.
Like, how do the people, there is literally no way that if I lived in the apartment building across the street, I mean, at least one of those people has to own a fucking shotgun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's I literally would not last a night.
No. Right now, there's definitely a guy huddled on his bed in the fetal position, a la Pink Floyd from the Wall movie, just eyes bloodshot, holding his head, screaming, and he's about to get a shotgun and start just blasting on that X. The whole thing it's so laughably dystopian. It's like, you know how there are comedy horror movies? This is like a comedy cyberpunk movie, which doesn't exist yet and should.
I bet there's some comedy cyberpunk anime out there.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
We do anime next week.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that makes it up a little bit from a movie.
We're trying to figure out what we're doing next week. We're hoping to figure it out by the end of the episode.
Yeah, you'll find out when we do, people.
Yeah. But anyway, we had to talk about it. I've always kind of felt like I'd go down with the Twitter ship, because of all the ways to social media, it's the least repulsive to me. But this is embarrassing in a way that makes me just not want to be there, just because it's cringe to be there.
Yeah, and seeing the fucking I utterly hate the fact that it changed the fuking app.
Yeah, on your phone.
Yeah, every time I see that, I flinch.
I'm sure there's a Chrome extension that'll turn the X's all back to birds. I know there's one that points, and I've got it installed. It points out when somebody's blue check is paid versus verified, and it's an awesome little Chrome extension because you immediately know when to discount.
Yeah,
somebody. I don't know, man. God,
it's pretty interesting to be living through a time when Kleenex decided to rebrand as Facial Tissue X. Because that's what he's done.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. For some reason, I thought you were serious. But yeah, or there's the little Twitter bird is on the packaging of everything you buy.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that.
And now it's not how do you get
I'm looking at
brand recognition?
I'm looking at one on my beer can right now.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, it's been verbed. I mean, it's
been verbed.
Yeah.
It seems like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, unless he's trying to purposely tank the company for some reason, which maybe seems like a cheaper ways to do that than spending $44 billion. Excuse me.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. I mean, it's I don't know. It doesn't potential as a potential part of a series of strategic moves. I can't figure out how it makes sense because, okay, so you could say, all right, so he just bought Twitter because he wanted a user base of however many 100 million people. Which I don't know what Twitter had at its peak.
Much less than all the others.
Yeah, it was never nearly as big as its footprint seemed. Yeah. At least in America.
Just because major media outlets relied on it so heavily.
Yeah. So you could say, okay, so he was buying this user base and having the ability to directly contact, 200 million people worldwide, whatever. But then he makes all these clearly insane moves that are obviously just going to chase people away.
Yeah.
So he's reducing his ability to do that.
Right.
And then changing the company, and he continues to do these stupid moves, including rebranding it as X, which literally I think every single human thinks is stupid. I think maybe the only, I think
I've
maybe
even
the
seen
only
his blue checks defend it very frequently, except for the one you mentioned and maybe a few here and there.
Yeah, I
Most
think
people
maybe
are baffled.
the only people who are actually pro this are in fact generated by ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. I mean, the dude is he is either playing 12-dimensional chess, or he's just a fucking idiot who happens to have a lot of money.
I think that's most likely.
I'm going for the second.
I should also say though, I will slit my own throat before I join Threads.
Oh, that's not happening for me. No. No.
I mean, I'm not opposed to new social media. I will probably hop over to Blue Sky when it opens up to give it a shot. There's no chance in hell that I will go to Threads.
No.
Jump from one megalomaniacal maniac to another.
I mean, I don't know. That's one that when they first rolled that out, I don't even it, that is another. It's another one of those things that reinforces to me oh yeah, I do not do what other people do with social media. Why would I ever get on there? You can't just see people you follow.
Really?
I mean, yeah. Apparently they're potentially opening that up.
Well, that's what Instagram's turned into.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me to find Instagrams from people I follow. It's all trash. And they don't, at least Twitter has the follow or for you buttons where you can switch.
There is actually on Instagram, there is actually a way to do that.
Oh, really? I need to find it.
Yeah. There is. And I highly recommend it because day 3 when they changed that to where I couldn't just get following chronological. Yeah. I was like, fuck this. And then somebody told me how to do it. And I was like, oh, okay. So now it's back normal.
I pretty much only go to Instagram to watch people's stories because that still pretty much pops up as normal.
Yeah.
So I watch stories and post pictures of my dog and leave. But anyway, we don't need to talk about that. We're keeping this bad boy to a tight 90. So the important thing is Elon Musk is the dumbest man in our current era. And we're watching him publicly fail, and it's amusing.
Over and over and over again.
All he had to do was just let Twitter keep working and slowly hemorrhage money.
Yeah.
Instead, he made it, what's worse than hemorrhage? Maybe slowly bleed money, and he made it hemorrhage money.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hop on over to recommendos. We've had months to watch stuff. Is there anything you want to recommend to the good folks out there?
Okay, yes. I would like to recommend the Jade City series of novels by Fonda Lee. I read those on the recommendation of our previous guest, Jeff. And also...
friend of the show.
Yes, friend of the show, Jeff, from Astronomica podcast. And also my wife recommended them as well, or my Borat voice and Shane.
Yeah.
Let's see. Those are really good. 3 books and they're done. It's a completed series. So it's not one of those giant fucking George R.R. Martin things that are never going to end.
Since you told me about it, I have made the note, and I think that might be the first book in a long time I read for pleasure. Not for a podcast.
Yeah. Sadly, I can't tie it to I can't really Cyberpunk it.
Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, recommend that. also recommend.
Real quick, since they're somewhat related, my only recommendo was going to be Warrior because I love it so much and it's back, and I want more people to watch it in hopes that they make a 4th season because
Yes,
it's so fucking good, and I just never see anybody talk about it. I don't see them promote it really.
yeah.
It's so fucking good. Just watch Warrior. I know you might think I'm not into kung fu shit. Neither am I. I never was into kung fu shit. It's like it's just good. Just go watch it, please.
Yeah, Warrior is fucking great, and yes, it is back. I mean, it fucking launched out of the gate, being awesome again.
Yeah.
And that goes side by side with the Jade City. If you have listened to or if you have read those books, Warrior is similar, but in 1890s. Is it 1890s or 1880s? San Francisco.
I think 90s.
Fucking tong wars and people hitting each other with hatchets and doing insane kung fu bullshit.
Wearing badass suits and
yeah, it's got a
smoking
character,
all kinds of opium, and
it's got a character who is very much like Hilo,
from Jade City.
Yeah, Young June is very much Hilo.
Young June's my favorite character.
Young June rules. Yeah, if you've read those books and haven't watched Warrior, go do that. If you've watched Warrior, go read those books.
Right.
Yeah, that was on my short list of things to recommend as well.
Yeah, I've been watching so much stuff. It's hard to pick anything out. Like the new season of Always Sunny is funny. The last episode, Dennis's mental health day, was recommended watching in this day and age, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's just so many things I'm in the middle of. Righteous Gemstones is great.
Haven't started the new season yet. Need to.
After Party. I really like After Party on Apple TV.
I forgot that was back.
It's goofy and good fun. There's a lot of good stuff right now, which enjoy it because soon we're going to have a drought.
Yeah. This Fool on Hulu. The second season just came out Friday.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I haven't watched any of it.
It is fucking great. The first season was really good. I don't remember if you watched that.
No, I don't think so.
First season was very good, and the second season is insanely way fucking better. Not because of any like major changes or anything, but fuck, there are some fucking bits in it that are just murder. I mean, like the first 3 episodes of the second season are there's a 2-parter episode that is some of the absolute funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. And it ends up running through the rest of the season. Oh, also it directly crossed over with a previous show that I liked that nobody gave a shit about, Corporate, which I recommended on
I remember you
Crick of the
recommending
Week
that
many years ago. So that was fun.
This Fool. I should watch that. Maybe that'll be our next new thing.
All right. It's good.
Is that enough?
Did I mention on the Hackers show that I watched How to Blow Up a Pipeline?
Yes, you did.
Okay, cool. Good. Yeah, that's still a recommended.
Oh, I saw Barbie.
I saw Oppenheimer.
Oh, together we did a Boppenheimer.
We did.
Barbenheimer.
How was the Barb?
The Barbie was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I don't know that it necessarily deserves the obscene amount of money it's making, but I'm not going to complain about it because I definitely enjoyed it. And I definitely want people to make more comedies, I guess.
Yeah.
And, I was not expecting all of the cast of Sex Education to be there. So many.
I knew that, can't remember the actor's name. The guy who's the new doctor on Doctor Who from Sex Education was in it.
I don't know who that is.
Fucking Otis's best friend.
Eric. Well, it's Eric's the character in the show because that's my name. I don't know the actor's name.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the last one I noticed. There are 2 others much bigger roles. Anyway, you don't need me to recommend Barbie. It's the biggest movie in the fucking country right now. It's good. It's funny.
Okay.
Ryan Gosling is a hoot.
Is he just a hoot?
He's a hoot.
All right, that's nice.
All right. Oh, Oppenheimer, was it good?
Yeah, it was
Did
pretty.
they get
pretty
the
good
bomb
movie.
built?
Turns out that Christopher Nolan can make a pretty good movie. It's one of those things where it's kind of, it's almost inevitable. You go in, you're like, yeah, this was really well made. I mean, a bunch of people did really good work. Like, great.
Yeah.
I almost can't get too excited about it. Like, it's just like, yeah, this was exactly what I expected when somebody said Christopher Nolan is making a movie about Robert Oppenheimer. Sure. I mean,
I just cannot summon even the most remote amount of interest. I want to. I like history stuff, but I don't know.
Well, it has nearly every great fucking character actor operating today. So, I mean...
All right. Does it have Russell Crowe?
Sadly, no. I was actually thinking about how Russell Crowe would do very well in a Chris Nolan movie.
Does it have Denzel?
No, not that I saw. Not a character actor.
Does it have... Shit, what's the lady's name?
Kelly Lynch.
Kelly Lynch.
Possibly, though I don't think so.
This is my way of segueing into the meat of our show.
Okay, great. And what meat it is?
It's blue gooey meat. All right, guys, we watched Virtuosity. Maybe one of you watched it too, so you could enjoy this with us.
We're sorry.
I remember it being better. I'm going to be honest.
I did too.
I liked it when I saw it as a kid on HBO.
I don't remember. Like, I don't remember liking it. I remember, like, really just a handful of things from it. And I saw it in the theater, obviously, because this was when I saw everything in the theater.
Right.
In fact, when this came out, I might have been working at the fucking theater for all I know. I remembered the nano goo looking really cool.
Yeah.
Along with the eating glass effects. Yeah. And okay, I was right. I was on the fucking nose. That stuff is pretty cool. I mean,
I remember Russell Crowe chewing scenery, and he definitely does that.
That's one of the other things that I remember that, like, it was, I remember even in the trailers and stuff, like, oh, this guy's going to be really big. Like, I mean, I'll say it right now at the beginning of the episode. It's not a great performance, but it is big and flashy.
Yeah. I mean,
he's
not, imagine that's what he was directed to do.
Yeah. I mean, he's not giving good Russell Crowe in any of the modes that Russell Crowe can be really good in, but it's flashy bullshit and kind of fun.
And Denzel is being very Denzel. Like, you tell Denzel to play a father who lost his wife and child to a terrorist attack, and that's what he's going to give you. It just seemed a little heavy and out of place in this film.
This, I need to pull up his IMDb. It really, when you say that, you're absolutely right. I kind of did not notice it because this movie...
Denzel seemed too much for this movie.
This movie became Denzel's, like, his persona in this movie is what Denzel has done in like half the movies I've seen him in.
He's done a lot
then.
Of bereaved father husband out for vengeance, for sure.
And like super competent, fucking, I mean, honestly, this is a half step off a Training Day character wise. It's
Man on Fire. Is that one?
Man on Fire. Absolutely. The Siege, fucking Fallen. I mean, he's almost, I don't know. He's a little more entertaining in Devil in a Blue Dress and more relaxed. But
he's a lot different in Training Day too. I wouldn't compare this to Training Day.
He is different, but what he's putting out is pretty similar in a lot of the scenes.
Yeah.
I just recently rewatched that, like maybe in the past year, I want to say.
I should rewatch that. Actually, that movie is great.
Yeah, Deja Vu. I mean, he's this in a shitload of movies, and I think honestly, looking at his IMDb, okay, so before this, like Denzel was a pretty big star at the time this movie came out, like surprisingly. Immediately before this, Crimson Tide.
Yeah, this was like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say peak Denzel. don't even know if he
that's
ever really
hard to-
peaked, but
that's hard
he
to
was
say,
definitely
yeah.
hot.
Yeah. Okay, so Crimson Tide. Going backwards from this, Crimson Tide, Philadelphia, Pelican Brief, Much Ado About Nothing, which I don't think I ever saw that. Malcolm X, 3 years before.
Oh,
fucking
yeah, Jesus, this is Denzel's hot
Ricochet.
streak. Why did he do
Ricochet, Mississippi Masala, Mo Better Blues, and then fucking we're only 5 years out from Glory, for Christ's sake.
that? God damn!
I
Why
mean,
did he do this movie?
that was the thing that was blowing my mind. Like the most amazing thing about this movie, and it's honestly unfucking believable how this movie has been memory hold.
Yeah,
Like this
because you
movie
couldn't find anything looking
this
it up.
movie doesn't exist. Like compared to fucking Hackers, Johnny Mnemonic. I mean, these are movies which are they're the same year, some of the same themes. None of them got very good reviews at the time. None of them made a shitload of money at the time. And
They both use similar styles of CGI.
But if you search for Hackers 1995 or Johnny Mnemonic 1995 or even fucking Tank Girl 1995, you'll find stacks, like Google, just page after page of Google reviews of people going, wait, was Johnny Mnemonic good from last year and 5 years ago and 10 years ago? And if you do the same search for Virtuosity, Virtuosity in 1995, you find one thing from like fucking Gizmodo 2 years ago where somebody is like, hey, like anybody remember this?
Well, so if you'd have asked me 3 years ago, whenever before we started Johnny in a Minute, that I would have put these two together as movies I really liked from about the same time period with similar subject matters. And I would have ranked them similarly in my mind. I'd seen Johnny Mnemonic a couple more times than Virtuosity, but it was still still like on the level. And then we watched Johnny Mnemonic and took it seriously and gave it, frankly, the amount of time it deserved to have devoted to it.
Abso-goddamn-lutely.
And came away thinking that Johnny Mnemonic is underrated. It has its flaws, but it's criminally underrated, much like we're criminally underwatched.
Yeah, it's got fucking ideas and good, like, even if Keanu is not giving a traditional, performance, he is giving, like, he made some choices and he fucking stuck with them.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, there's all sorts of interesting shit going on. If nothing else, the set design is fucking makes that movie super watchable. And
alternately, I was about halfway into Virtuosity and realized this movie has some memorable moments, and that's probably all that I took away from it. And beyond that, it's boring.
Yeah, it's boring, and it also sucks. Like, it's not just boring; it also sucks. Like, it's not good.
So, are we let's do a recap, right?
Yes.
Is that what you're planning on?
Yeah, that was my move, or that was my plan.
I didn't want it to suck. I went in fully expecting to have a good time.
I figured, I absolutely figured, oh, this is probably going to be like better in at least some respect than Hackers. Like,
I don't know if I thought better than Hackers, but I thought to be as entertained by it as I was.
Yeah, I mean, I figured they'd at least be kind of on a level. Like,
I'm really glad we didn't do a watch along for this, because I think it would have just been kind of a bummer and not.
Yeah.
Maybe we would have made fun of it in a funny way. Who knows? But
I don't know.
It would have been surprising to both of us, because you and I have never quoted this movie to each other, but we've both referenced it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's in the what I now realize to be the magic year of 1995. So how bad could it be? That was
Right.
the year when Cyberpunk broke.
Yeah.
And it's got like, how do you make a boring movie with fucking peak Denzel and sexy, young, hot Russell Crowe?
So glad you didn't say Kaylee Cuoco there.
Oh, also, I forgot. Yeah, she's in that movie. Yeah, how the fuck do you make a boring and like I don't know? It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, not just Russell Crowe being sexy and hot, but Russell Crowe like doing his best Heath Ledger's Joker before Heath Ledger did the Joker.
Yes. Oh, that's okay. That's something I wanted to bring up in the opening part of the show that I'll just cover really quickly. I saw somebody on Reddit suggest that Oppenheimer was Christopher Nolan attempting to come to terms with the fact that he directed the first of the hugely successful modern superhero films.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan is Oppenheimer, and the atom bomb is the Batman films.
Yeah, that's fair.
And arguably the Heath Ledger Joker.
Oh, shit, my power just flickered. We might be...
Mine browned a second ago.
Good luck to us and to you,
Yes.
listener. Because electricity death waves can travel through podcasts.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. We learned that 5 minutes into this movie.
And in Gremlins 2. All right, so let's get started with this recap.
First of all, title sequence. It's terrible. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
And it's long.
I don't know why it existed. It is an out-of-focus camera fixed at the top of some stairs or a couple of escalators with... You can't see anything because it's all blurred out. You just see people coming up an escalator and people going down an escalator. And then names flash on the screen and it makes a little pingy sound. So it'll be like Denzel Washington, bing. Russell Crowe, bing. Kelly Lynch, bing. Directed by that guy who directed Lawnmower Man, bing. And it's like 4.5 minutes long. I don't understand. I don't know why they did that. Are you dead? You're gone. Nope, I think he lost power, folks.
All right. It is 48 hours later.
And we're back.
You might recall 20 or 30 seconds ago me worrying about a power outage. That happened.
It definitely happened. Neither of us remember exactly what I was talking about, but we're going to assume it probably wasn't that important, and we'll just go ahead from there.
I think it's worth mentioning real quick. We have had 48 hours pass, and it's been an eventful 48 hours, right?
It certainly has.
First of all, R.I.P. Paul Rubens. That's very sad.
Yeah, no shit.
Second of all, the Big X came down.
Yes.
We were just talking about that on the show. The big Twitter X. It's no more.
Mere minutes ago, you were hearing us talk about how stupid that was.
And
our pleas were heard.
I'm sure that's what it was, not the pleas of the fucking citizens of San Francisco across the street.
Yeah.
Having epileptic fits every 20 seconds. Anyway, I thought it was worth mentioning. So,
yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about the title sequence, how it's lame and bad and boring.
Yes.
And I think we can move on from there.
Yeah. So the title sequence cuts directly to the opening action sequence, where Denzel Washington is wearing a blue pleather police outfit with another guy.
Uh-huh.
And they're hunting somebody in a world of identical businessmen's.
Now, let me say, this whole opening scene kind of set my hopes high. I thought it was a cool start to the movie.
Yeah.
The way everybody was the same and they were kind of saying the same things. They bumped into each other and Denzel's cheesy 90s, almost Fifth Element-like police outfit.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to put it. I think the opening sequence is the best in the movie.
I'd say the first 20 minutes are the best part of the movie because I don't
Okay.
mind the sequence that comes after either. It's
Yeah.
later that gets done, but yeah. Let's keep going.
So we find out number one, they're hunting this guy, and they go through like a subway and a mall, and end up in a Japanese restaurant, and with like real, honest to God, geisha shit going on.
Yeah, real stereotypical stuff.
And then the first funny thing in the movie, funny bad thing in the movie, is Denzel is explaining to the other guy he's with, who I think maybe his name was Donovan or something like that. Donovan says, "What do we look for?" Because apparently he's unable to distinguish the fact that nearly all of these guys and women look identical. And Denzel says, "His eyes, they'll be like mine." And then
that didn't make any sense.
Mere seconds later, he apparently IDs and then shoots the villain that they're hunting, based entirely on a silhouette cast on a rice paper screen. Yeah. So there are no eyes visible at all.
That was that whole how are their eyes the same? None of it made sense.
They're both killers. I don't know, but we haven't established that. I mean,
yeah, at that point, Parker doesn't know.
Yes, Denzel's name is Parker Barnes, which is a pretty good protagonist name.
Yeah, speaking of Parker, I really want to watch that movie for our Patreon.
We should watch all of the Parker movies for Patreon.
We should just start another podcast.
God, that'd be great.
I particularly want to watch the Jason Statham one because I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it. And I'm curious your take.
I'm honestly not certain if I have. I remember, like, I honestly have no idea if I did or didn't, and I'm just remembering the trailer. Like, if I saw it, it's very possible I don't remember fucking anything about it. But who knows?
I saw it in the theater because I was stoked. Because for those of you who aren't familiar or aren't aware, the Parker movie starring Jason Statham and Jennifer Lopez.
I thought it was like Eva Longoria or something.
I think it's Jennifer Lopez. I think it's J-Lo.
Was it J-Lo? Huh.
Is based on books that Josh and I both really like, and that movie did not turn out to be as good as those because for some reason they cast Jason Statham as the main.
Yeah.
Wait, we'll talk about that. I'm getting off topic.
Just real quickly, they're incredible books. They're great classics of crime fiction written by Donald Westlake under the pseudonym Richard Stark. They made, I don't know, I'd say
bunch of movies.
Yeah, there have been like 6 or so different adaptations of them, including the 1999, 2000 Mel Gibson film Payback.
That was older than that, I think.
Was it? Okay. That Robert Duvall film called The Outfit, a French film that I've never seen called Made in USA, and the Lee Marvin classic Point Blank, which rules.
Yeah, and then if you count the Dortmunder books, they also did a movie about that.
A couple of them.
Yeah. Similar books by same author.
Related. I mean, there's direct crossover.
Same universe? Is it the Westlake Cinematic Universe?
Oh yeah, we need to start a WCU.
I would love to. This is not the right podcast to be talking about this.
Also, I feel bad directly equating fucking Donald Westlake to this movie.
Yeah. I don't even remember why he came up at this point. Oh, Parker. The name Parker is very important.
Yeah.
In the Richard Stark books.
Yeah.
And they say it a lot in this film. So frequently. Yeah. As particularly Sid 6.7 or whatever screams Parker about 1 million times.
Yes, he absolutely fucking does. That is a classic screenwriting tip. Like, okay, you give your protagonist and your antagonist unique names, okay?
Yeah.
Not like Jim. And then you have other characters say them. Okay, so this makes the audience remember the character's name, so they'll think of that character as being iconic once they leave the theater because you've said Parker 8,000 times.
Well, I absolutely would not have remembered that was his name, even given the connection.
Oh,
if he hadn't screamed like Sid, I struggle to remember Sid 6.7 because because Denzel's not constantly screaming it at the top of his lungs.
Okay, so anyway, it turns out there's this shootout in the Japanese restaurant. The other cop that Denzel is with dies.
Put on ice.
Yeah, he's put on ice. It's hilarious. And young, sexy Russel Crowe is in a culturally appropriative sushi chef outfit.
Yeah.
And starts killing Denzel. Denzel shoots him. He also
hostage.
Yeah, shoots him through a hostage. After Sid calls him copper, pig, flatfoot. Which Flatfoot, that's a classic.
A good oldie.
That's not one that gets pulled out very often. I need to do that more often.
Yeah, you should bust that one out at like some type of protest.
Yeah.
What are you looking at, Flatfoot?
Yeah. I should bring that out. Like I'm trying to get jazz cigarettes back into
jazz cigarettes.
There's a really terrible sequence of Sid's CGI wound healing.
Oh my God, that was bad. I'd forgotten until you just mentioned it. It looked so bad.
Yeah, it really did. But anyway, Denzel gets pulled out as he and Sid are about to kill each other. And it turns out this is all virtual reality, except that the other guy he was in there with, who has a barbed wire tattoo around his neck, is actually dying because the settings on the big computer thing were off.
Well, they're both like seizing as we cut to the real world, and you get to see how incredibly fucking jacked Denzel was.
Yeah.
For this role that didn't really require it.
And especially in fucking, like, he's super jacked for fucking 1992?
Yeah. Wait,
or 94? 95? Yeah. I mean, because that level, like, nowadays, the past 15 years, we're used to literally everybody in every movie is constantly jacked.
Right, but back then it was a lot more rare.
Yeah.
It was saved for WWE or F or whatever it was at the time.
And Schwarzenegger.
And Stallone. There were a few.
Yeah. So then it turns out that this whole thing was VR. They're testing out VR training for police officers, and using convicts to do it. Both Denzel and the other guy were convicted felons. And the company is run by William Fichtner, who is having a great fucking year. This is his second appearance on our show, I think. Maybe third.
Yeah. Strange Days.
Strange Days, yeah.
I bet he comes back again.
He'll be back a couple of times.
Yeah. Friend of the show. Let's just call it up front.
Yeah, he had an incredible fucking run in 95. Like, it was one of those things where about every third movie I saw, I was like, oh, Bill Fichtner, great. That's cool.
Yeah.
And
he's just got a face.
He's got a face, and he's also just good at playing shitbird.
Yeah.
Like, he's in Heat doing that, and fucking Dark Knight Rises, and yeah.
He's in Heat. Feel these balls.
Feel
this engorged labia.
Penis. So then I have the literal note, Parker Barnes is a pretty good protagonist name.
Very good, yeah.
And this is the point at which I wrote, you can tell this movie is bad because it stars two major movie stars, but literally no human ever talks about it.
I know. Like, possibly near the first Russell Crowe movie. He was going to be in LA Confidential, a year? 97, I think, was LA Confidential.
That sounds right. So 2 years later. He had his first movie, which made me kind of excited to see this movie when I saw the trailer. His first U.S. movie was Quick and the Dead, which
Oh,
rules.
right. That does rule.
And it came out like 2 or 3 months before this. I think that was spring.
He was good in that too.
Yeah, he was fucking great. Yeah, that's a movie people don't talk about.
And it's got big ass stars in it, but it's not bad.
Huge stars. Yeah.
So I guess your theory. I don't know. I've heard more people talk about that than this movie for sure.
Yeah. Well, and also that I don't know, that movie is inherently more weirder. I mean, not just
really? More weird than this.
Yeah.
Actually, this isn't weird. You're right.
No,
this, like,
it's not. It's really boring. Yeah.
It tries to put on like a weird skin, but it's a really standard, boring action film.
Yeah, I mean, it's barely anything. Like literally, you can swap out virtually any element of this movie for like the equivalent in 95% of other movies made in the 1990s. I mean, like, I guess this would be the same film if Tom Cruise was in it, or if Schwarzenegger was in it, or if fucking, I don't know, who cares?
I guess now's as good a time as any to talk about the cyberpunkness of this movie, which it's like skinned in Cyberpunk, but really doesn't feel much like it at all.
No, it really doesn't.
It takes place in the present for one thing.
It takes place in 1999.
Oh, does
a
it?
solid 4 years in the future.
Oh, that makes sense because I just remembered on the gravestones his wife and daughter were 94.
Yeah,
he's got a cybernetic arm, or at least a metal arm, which appears to function exactly like a normal human arm.
Yes,
tubes.
That's a note I have for, I don't know, 10 minutes before the end of the movie. Hey,
Yeah.
he's got a cyber arm, and it has literally never come into play yet.
Yeah, there was one other place where, it's in the next scene actually, in the prison fight scene.
Yeah,
he swings a weapon at him and he deflects it with his hand.
Yeah,
but yeah, and then there's virtual reality, there's AI, there's all the stuff that Cyberpunk has, but it doesn't feel Cyberpunk whatsoever. No. There's even like political talk, which is simply there for flavor. Like they do not pick a side on that political talk. There are just people talking politics in the background.
Yeah. There's like in the background, background theme wise is like, wow, TV is very, very popular and very violent. This guy wants an audience for his crimes. So I guess they're gently trying to say that violent media is bad.
I don't know what they're trying to say. I don't know if they're even trying to say that, because they are violent media.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we'll get to it, but there's like a live debate on immigration, and the immigrant clearly gets just his fucking head blown off first. Like,
I do not believe that was an immigrant. I believe that was a Native American activist.
Well, but they were talking about immigration.
I know.
It seems like the exact. I mean, they're the right people to talk about whatever.
Yeah.
And then the like, fucking Denzel's main bad guy from his past was some type of leftist activist, I guess. He talked about how he briefly says how so many people own so much and everybody else left with so little, which we can get behind.
Sure.
But it seems like he's just using that for popularity so that he can kill people.
I believe they say a couple of times in the film that he is a political serial killer.
Yeah, which
which is, that's an interesting idea.
I don't know. It's devoid of any message or any cause. And then Denzel is a terrible cop in a world of terrible cops.
Yeah.
They specifically make fun of dudes waiting for a search warrant.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can keep going. I'm ruining all the bits.
It's good. It's good work.
It's 90s cop movies, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so before Denzel is loaded back up in the transport to go back to prison, he's talking to this guy who is played by William Devane, who is great. I'm sure he'll show back up on our show. Who is his former, I think he's chief something.
Yeah. Former boss, maybe.
Yeah.
Really,
And
honestly, one of the better characters.
oh yeah,
in
by
the
a
movie,
big
too.
margin.
And, I mean, we'll get to it, but yeah, we'll just keep going.
Yeah. And says that Sid cheated by using electrocution, which wasn't clicked on his options or something.
Yeah.
So, the AI is, I don't
Getting
know.
more eye.
Yeah, I guess.
Is this where he asks him why he shot the hostage? And Parker says, because I knew it
yes.
wasn't real or something like that.
Yes.
Well, then why are you in the simulation if you're not playing by the rule?
Yeah.
What's the point of the simulation?
Yeah. That is that part. So then Denzel gets to go back to prison. He gets a cool scan, like in Giant Mnemonic, and it shows that he has a cyber arm, and also he's got a bunch of shit on his back. Like it looks like some sort of implants along the sides of his spine.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's just, and I was like, okay, sure. Then he gets in a fight with a Nazi.
Let's also point out how fucking badass Denzel's braids are.
Oh yeah. He
looks
also
cool as shit.
He looks very fucking cool in the opening 20 minutes real life stuff.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed they cut his hair.
Yeah, he has a fucking beard, and yeah. So
like, what's the antagonist of Black Panther?
Michael
B. Jordan.
Creed. Yeah,
not Creed. Creed is not the antagonist.
Yes,
although that's a movie.
Hey,
we're doing crossovers now.
Yeah,
Creed versus Black Panther. I gotta know what the fucking character's name is. It's right on the tip of my tongue.
The Black Panther character?
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, it's not going to come to me.
Killmonger. I knew it was
Killmonger, yes.
Something super
ridiculous.
Edgy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good name.
So, yeah, then Denzel fights a Nazi and gets beaten up by guards and tossed in a fucking cell.
Yeah, he does some Denzel stuff in the meeting. He yells and
yeah. And then we cut to Sid playing piano in a Windows 95 background.
Yeah.
And he's talking with his creator, who is a douchebag, who's a
fucking nerd.
Yeah, the actor I've seen in a million goddamn things.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't remember.
He looks like that dude from The Office.
Dude from The Office. Toby?
No, I can't remember his fucking name. He was a comedian. Never mind.
Okay.
Forget I said anything.
All right, sure.
I don't remember names.
Well, neither do I. Which makes us very skilled and great for this show.
Not the best. Yeah.
This
scene, by the way, is what played at the intro of this episode.
Oh, yeah. I will say, in this conversation with his creator, this movie does a good job of guessing at future computing sizes than Giant Mnemonic did.
He's a pretty big program. They said like a 36 terabyte or something.
I'm a 50 terabyte self-evolving neural network. So, sure. I mean, that sounds real.
That's pretty good sci-fi speak, honestly. Yeah. And I will also say, it was up to about this point that I was still on board with Virtuosity. I'm like, this is going to be good because Russell Crowe's acting crazy. I kind of liked the intro. Denzel looked badass with the braids. And then I think it kind of all goes downhill after this scene.
It turns into an incredibly boring normal thriller after this.
Yeah.
Well, in like 10 minutes. And it's just like it could be literally any movie. I mean, there's nothing to it. There's no meat.
There's literally a little girl that needs saving.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing this movie really has going for it at all is Russell Crowe chewing scenery.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't do it enough.
Yeah, they don't allow him enough space to really do crazy bullshit, I guess.
I mean, like, he's a chaotic, evil serial killer who just enjoys killing. And I guess I wanted him to be more charming. I wanted him to be more Freddy Krueger, more the Joker, and
Sure.
he just wasn't. I don't know. He wasn't any of that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
He wasn't written well enough.
Crowe is doing a good job delivering the lines that he was apparently given, and there just aren't enough. Like, I don't know. I think modern Russell Crowe, if he was doing this, it would be much more fucking entertaining, because at this point he's like, I don't fucking care. You already paid me my money. You have to just let me talk on camera.
Right.
And I'm going to do whatever weird bullshit I feel like, which I highly recommend The Pope's Exorcist.
Okay.
I mean, Russell Crowe is playing a half step this side of a pizza box character.
All right.
Like he's playing Mario. It's great. It's like, I like the football and the mozzarella. Yeah, I'm the Pope's Exorcist, eh?
I don't know why I was like, it was clearly the high point of the movie, Russell Crowe and his scenery chewing, but it was also it wasn't as good as it could have been, and that was kind of just added to the disappointment.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. I think, like, even like 2 or 3 years later, I think he would have done a much better job of being able to take over the camera like he needs to do what this character is supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, it turns out that the creator guy knows that Sid cheated as well, and that he jacked up I don't remember what
it's in the intro.
Yeah, the biofeedback nonsense to be able to kill the people in real life, because he really wants to just get out and kill people because
it's a rush.
Yeah. And we'll hear all about how
it's kind of dumb for an artificial intelligence to get off on killing people when they really don't have like a concept of life or death.
But look, this guy's made up of 186 serial killers, man.
Yeah, I guess that's what you got to think. He's not really an artificial intelligence. He's just a conglomeration of bad dudes. Bad dudes. We are young people.
We are. We both went for the obvious reference.
Actually, probably predates this movie. Arcade stand-up machine.
Yes, it certainly does. I am 100% certain. Okay, so then we cut to... so he's like starting to try and convince the inventor guy to free him from computers. And this is...
I wish somebody could do that for me.
Yeah.
Free me from all these computers.
Yeah. He's like, so, hey, I won't kill any more people in the program if I'm not in the program. And sure, whatever. So then we cut to Kelly Lynch. She's doing a psych interview with Denzel. Oh yeah, she watched the demonstration earlier.
Yeah, she was there. What else is Kelly Lynch famous for?
Oh, she's been in tons.
The name is so familiar. I can't off the dome think of anything.
Whole shitloads of stuff in the 80s. Like tons and tons.
I'll just Google it while you talk.
I'm pulling it up like this second. Okay, Drugstore Cowboy, Roadhouse. Let's see.
I mean, that's probably enough.
Not a lot of shit I've seen since, I don't know, the mid-90s. Ooh, she was in White Man's Burden. That's a almost certainly unproblematic film.
Yeah.
Oh, Curly Sue. Cocktail. Oh, yeah, she was in Cocktail. That's right. She was the love interest in Cocktail.
That's enough.
I think that's enough. I'm going to stop.
Definitely a famous name.
So
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, I don't know what she was in Charlie's Angels. I saw that credit. I'm not sure. Because that was the 2000 Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
So yeah, she is a criminal psychologist and is interviewing Denzel, who, he got some chalk from his former boss and decides to do a Basquiat in his cell.
Yeah, reminds him of his family.
I guess. Yeah.
Sure.
So apparently one of the very few trivia items about this movie is that originally there was going to be a romance plot with Denzel and Kelly Lynch.
I felt that.
Yeah, but Denzel thought audiences wouldn't accept it being interracial. So
Denzel put the kibosh on it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's unexpected.
Yeah. I thought that was like, it's probably smart on his part, like from a...
the movie didn't need a romance plot, that's for sure, but not for that reason.
Like, adding a romance plot would have added a whole probably 5 minutes, which this movie did not need any more time. It needed less.
Yeah.
This movie is 1 hour, 46 minutes long, and you feel every fucking second of it.
True.
We find out at this point that he lost his family and his arm to a serial killer. And then we cut to a guy playing pocket pool to a sexy lady in computer chess in the big VR lab thing.
Yeah, this scene was awkward.
It really was, because the guy was fiddling with his dick in his pocket the whole time. It was.
Oh, I did not notice
weird.
that. My God, are you serious?
No, he's literally playing fucking pocket pool.
Oh my God.
It is fucking something.
I hated this scene.
Yeah. Okay, so it turns out that this guy invented nanotech androids.
Whatever.
Which is just treated as okay.
Yeah, this is just something that's going to exist in 4 years, guys. Get used to it.
Yeah. And it's
People
not brought
in the
up.
Mid-90s really had high hopes for the late 90s.
And the crazy thing is, it's really not brought up, except for in this scene and then like the next one. Like, if this guy invented these fucking wicked nanotech android things,
self-healing,
like,
yeah,
even if the AI thing wasn't there, you would expect them to be somehow in the film, other than
just as a body for Russell Crowe.
So anyway, the inventor
I do feel like it was a little ahead of its time. I don't remember a lot of people talking about like nanotech and nanobots in 1995. I'm sure people were outside of my 15-year-old purview, but
I did make a note of that the use of just the terminology nanotech is fairly advanced.
Yeah.
For popular movies at the time. So it turns out that the AI inventor guy invited him here to see the sexy lady computer chess thing.
Who really wants to get fucked. Like, they programmed her horny.
Yeah, she is horned.
Talk about an objectification. They literally like take her out of the thing and just throw her on the ground and kick her under a desk.
Yep. Yeah, it's something.
I know she's not a real person,
but still,
that's like symbolic.
Yeah. So the AI inventor guy is like, hey, so I had a pretty cool idea. What, you got those nanotech androids? What if we made the sexy lady into the nanotech android, and then you could stick your dick in her? And the pocket pool guy is like, yes, I want to stick my dick in some fucking green goo.
Blue. It's blue.
Blue goo. And then they go to that.
And then they birth Russell Crowe in a pod.
One thing that I did remember from this movie, one of the very few things, was I remember the nano goo looking cool, and I wasn't wrong. Like,
it's pretty cool. Kind of a glowy blue.
When it's doing the nano goo effects and it's like eating glass and stuff, that looks pretty cool, especially for a 1995 movie.
Yeah. That's where all the money went.
Yeah, probably. There's a fun, just regular, everyday kitchen timer noise for when the nanotech droid finishes. It's literally just a bing, and then there's like this weird gross egg thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really gross sequence. Like,
it's wet.
Yeah, it's real wet. I could see that little sequence coming out of a Cronenberg film, maybe Naked Lunch or something. And this is the point at which the movie just becomes real fucking boring.
Yeah,
Like here,
unfortunately.
at this point, the movie just switches over to normal shit.
Yeah, this is kind of the
so-
end of the sci-fi elements, other than like the very end.
Yeah,
From here, it's
so
just a serial killer being chased by an unhinged cop.
yeah. So Russell Crowe is freshly hatched and naked. He kills he chokes the android maker guy to death. And one thing that I will give it is every once in a while they do a little bit of CG to Russell Crowe's face,
Yeah,
and make his eyes bug out weird.
yeah,
So he looks like Judge Doom in Roger Rabbit, and that's kind of funny.
yeah. I don't hate that. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Plus,
And
it
then
lends to his, otherworldliness, his creepiness.
yeah, and then he does some katas with a steak knife and slices his finger off. I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
It's good. It makes for a good GIF on the internet. It's like one of the few things that pops up when you search Virtuosity on
Yeah.
Giphy. But don't know why. I guess just to show the audience what he can do.
yeah. When they had already established it by cutting a snake in half.
Yeah, that
And
was
doing
fully
it.
established by killing that snake.
Whatever. And then speaking of snakes, they cut immediately from him cutting his finger off and demonstrating, like, hey, I can regrow stuff, to Denzel getting a snake Plissken implant.
Right.
Like, there's no space in between this. Because they're saying, okay, you got to catch this Sid 6.7. Like, I don't know. It's really weird that there is not a scene of anything
of him like getting out.
Yeah, it's very fucking bizarre. Like, just from a narrative standpoint. Like, oh, okay. I mean, I understand that this would be the next important thing to happen. You know, you
they
have
need
to
that
get
scene of him like walking out of the prison and like looking around at all the free space like so many movies have.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very odd. But yeah, they give Denzel a snake Plissken implant, injected into
Sorry.
Yes, injected into the densest bone in the human body, where they were sticking that needle. So that's fun.
Need pocket pool guy's boner.
Yes. Now that little knob right behind your ear.
Yeah.
That's the densest piece of bone in your body.
Damn.
So yeah, horrible place to implant anything, and
especially since there's no drill, it's just pushing straight in.
Yeah, it's just a giant fucking horse needle,
right through that bone.
Yeah, right through. So then, basically, they lay out, okay, we need you to catch Sid. He left, and then they show like a fucking surveillance camera footage of him leaving the VR facility. I can't remember the name of the company. Something tech.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then he goes out with Kelly Lynch, and
for some reason he's dragging Kelly Lynch along because she's a reporter or something.
No, she's a criminal psychologist.
Oh right, she's a psychologist. So I still couldn't figure out why they dragged her around everywhere. And like there were times when he should have left her because people were getting away and he waited for her.
Yeah. And they go out on the street and they make a weird, complete lack of effort to make anything look futuristic at all.
Oh, absolutely. The cars are
it's a mid-90s. Fucking 93 Blazer that they're driving around in a bunch. Yeah. There's like, they just did not even try. They didn't even choose futuristic looking cars that were available at the time. Like,
no.
If you remember RoboCop,
yeah. Do you remember Max Headroom?
Yeah. Like, okay, RoboCop, they made an effort because all the fucking cars were those brand new, because RoboCop came out right at the same time that the brand new bubbly Ford Tauruses came out.
Uh-huh.
Because that was the first bubbly car as opposed to, real edges.
Right, I remember.
And
exciting.
And it looked fucking weird in RoboCop because, like, oh, all these cars are real bubbly. It looks like the future.
Yeah.
They made none of that effort. They didn't stick a fucking Ford Probe in this, for God's sake.
Even Strange Days, a movie that came out the same year as this and took place in the same year this one takes place, looks futuristic.
Yeah.
They got a special Mercedes, right?
Yeah,
If I
yeah.
remember
It was
right.
like a year or two before it came out.
And I realized Strange Days probably had a much larger budget than this, but come on, any amount of effort.
Yeah, they just didn't try. There's no reason, like, other than the stuff we've talked about and 3 minutes of the movie at the end, there is no reason for this movie to be science fiction or set in the future.
Yeah.
Or not on Lifetime. I mean, it's a TV movie quality, honestly.
Well, that's probably why
Script-wise.
I thought it was an HBO original when I was a kid, like one of those
Fair.
movies that HBO. And I watched it on HBO. I'm certain of that, and I thought it was like made and produced by HBO until I learned from you that it was in a theater.
Honestly, HBO made better movies than this, like quality-wise.
Yeah, you're
right. Barbarians at the Gates.
Yeah.
What was the Late Show movie? Was it just called The Late Show?
It's called The Late Show. Yeah,
it's great.
No, it wasn't. It was called. Fuck, I can't remember.
Jay Leno hides in a closet. Like a
yeah,
creep.
I know what you're talking about. I know the movie you're talking about, but
anyway, The Late Shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, HBO made some actually decent movies. This is, whatever. Okay, so then we go through a real standard plot. They go to the first crime scene where Russel Crowe has reenacted the Tate LaBianca murders and wrote "Death to Pigs" on the walls and shit like that.
That's when we find out that he's not really an AI. He's a conglomeration of evil men.
Yes. Let's see.
Including Sheriff Rick Grimes. Isn't that the guy's name? Something like that.
Yes. I think I actually wrote his name down at some point. So after this scene when Kelly Lynch, I keep wanting to say Kelly LeBrock.
Different actresses. But...
Yeah. Kelly Lynch says, wait, this is reenacting the Manson murders. They go to the AI creator guy, whose name is Lindenmeyer, his apartment, and they find the computer and a bunch of files and stuff, and it turns out he's made up of 186 serial killers and mass murderers and blah, blah, blah.
And this is where they find the cops staked out outside, and they're like, why haven't you gone in? Like, we're waiting for a search warrant. And he laughs at them like, search warrant.
Yeah. I'm a rogue cop.
Bullshit.
Yeah, and they're bad people. There's like Hitler and Stalin and fucking Ed Gein and on and on and on.
All right, let's not bring my boy Ed into this.
Then we cut to Sid at a nightclub. Oh, and by the way, we haven't said it yet. Do you remember what Sid stands for?
No, I don't.
It is version 6.7 of sadistic, intelligent, and dangerous, baby.
I hate that.
Yeah, it's not good.
Also, mandatory 1995 science fiction nightclub scene inbound.
Yes, that is literally the next thing I'm getting to. Sid goes to the nightclub. Tracy Lords is singing?
Yeah. I see it right here on IMDb.
Yeah. So that happens, and he's like, I don't know, shooting people and murdering.
Making a weird remix.
People
screaming and crying.
But like, he walks into this nightclub and like starts being weird at people. And then it cuts to Denzel and Kelly Lynch at Kelly Lynch's house, where we meet fucking Harley Quinn, Kaylee Cuoco.
Kaylee Cuoco. Harley
Quinn.
Yes.
Yeah, she plays Harley Quinn on the Harley Quinn cartoon show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's
she
very
plays
funny
a lot
show.
of things.
She does. She plays the flight attendant.
In The Flight Attendant. She only does things where the name of the show is who she plays.
She plays The Big Bang?
She plays kind of.
Was it? Okay. I wasn't 100% certain if it was The Big Bang Theory she was on.
It's The Big Bang Theory, yeah.
Was it? Okay. I wasn't sure if it was that or the How I Met Your Mother show.
No, it was Big Bang Theory.
Okay. All right. Pleased with my guess. So, yeah, we meet a 12-year-old Kaylee Cuoco. She likes baseball?
Yeah.
I guess, just to give her character a thing.
And you immediately like get the Chekhov's 12-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. This is you get to this point in the movie and you're like, oh, I see what they're
This
doing
kid's
here.
going to be in danger later.
Yeah. Okay, I see how this happens. And that actually brings me to one thing I very specifically remember about this movie is the combination of that, like, this movie was right around the point at which I started being able to see through the matrix of movies, like to where I'm just seeing the fucking Joe Pantoliano grid of like, hey, there's the chick in the red dress thing. Because I remember being in this movie and going, oh, the only reason the little girl exists is because she's going to get taken hostage at the end,
Just
and
like
then
Denzel's
Denzel will have to take her. And yeah, oh, that makes total sense. And then at the very end of this movie, spoiler alert, not that you should watch it. Spoiler alert, Sid gets thrown off a thing and lands on this big glass sculpture thing.
Yeah.
And is like hugely all fucked up. And that, I remember watching the movie and thinking, oh, that's so the good guy can theoretically remain a good guy. He doesn't have to kill the bad guy. It was like the bad guy falling that killed him, which is a really common thing in movies. It gets used all the time. Like, Batman doesn't kill, but the Joker's glove will slip off his hand and he'll, that type of thing.
Even though, I don't know, the whole shooting the hostage thing that comes up again later.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed right in character when he did it.
Yeah. You're not wrong. But I remember very specifically this movie being so fucking transparent.
Yeah.
That as a fucking 15-year-old or whatever, I was like, oh, okay, now I see all these goddamn tricks. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, so yeah, then they get a call. Sid, and then we cut back to the club where Sid is like torturing people and doing a cool techno remix of their screaming.
This is a thing, like, I feel like this could have been better.
Yeah, it definitely could have. I mean,
like, I kind of like what Russell Crowe's doing here. I like how he's fixated on the suit. That's a cool little character quirk.
Yeah, and
finding a new suit.
The instant I saw that suit, I was like, oh, okay, this sets up the fucking Bee Gees.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the memorable portion of this movie.
But once again, like, something about this scene fell flat. Like, it's like they're trying to make him Freddy Krueger and they're ending up with just like a watered down version of it.
Well, and it's like, this is the crappiest version of the mid-90s fucking techno club that we've seen.
Oh, yeah.
By
sure.
a
There's
huge
no ladies
margin.
in cages.
There's no ladies in cages. It's like basically 4 walls, and
it's a shitty looking set.
Yeah, it's a terrible looking fucking set. That's one of the major crimes of this movie compared to other, like,
just the set work.
Same time, every one of the other movies we've seen from like this fucking year do so much with their fucking set dressing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this movie is doing
hackers. Think about hackers and their weird little hacker.
Yeah,
they call it the Casa. I forgot the Barbie thing.
The
Casa. That's basically what the hackers have. These cool skateboarding.
Fucking PlayStation 1 on a giant screen.
Yeah,
and
you're right. And
yeah,
Strange Days is incredible. Johnny Mnemonic, look what they did with a bunch of fucking old TVs. And
honestly, that's the best part of that movie, and I love that movie, as we know.
News to me.
Like,
they really failed in set design in this movie. For sure.
Yeah, they just completely tapped out. I don't know.
I was noticing. Well, we'll get there, but the news station where they're in, like, I felt like a set. It was so tiny. The ceilings were so low. For some reason, my brain was comparing it to Gremlins 2 when they're like, they have the little TV studio inside the mall and they're going through all the TV shows. And that felt like like a real
Yeah.
TV set compared to this. Felt like a stage, like a sound stage of a. It didn't. I don't know. It looked like a tiny room they were in. It didn't look real.
Yeah. This movie is not well done.
Oh shit! You're right.
Yeah.
Let's hustle through the rest of it then.
Okay. So yeah. So Sid kills some people. He wants to do the Symphony of Pain thing. I think they were trying to set this up as like a thing that people would remember. They didn't.
No. He didn't actually do anything. He just pointed the gun at him. He never actually tortured anybody.
Yeah.
This wasn't a horror movie, so they weren't going to do that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like they're trying to show him as a sadist, but he's not being sadistic. He's just scaring people and then recording.
Yeah.
You either got to go all the way or do something else.
Yeah. Okay, so then Denzel and Kelly Lynch get the call, or Denzel gets the call on the radio, and here's something that lives in my brain, rent-free. When Kelly Lynch is running to the car because Denzel has started honking and yelling at her because he got a report of this, murders, although there aren't any murders yet in the club, he says, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go!
Yeah.
And I don't know if he might say that in another movie or something, but I say that same fucking way with Denzel in my head. So apparently that's something that stuck with me.
That's your all right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
Denzel's all right, all right, all right.
So they get to the club. Russell Crowe steals the suit and Looney Tunes away when Denzel shoots him.
Yeah, it's hilarious. He's carrying that suit throughout a whole long chase action scene.
Yeah, he's like, whoop, 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 and just doing fucking Looney Tunes moves. I mean, just
parkouring out of there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous and pretty funny.
And shot so many times and doesn't slow down.
There's a car chase, and he eats windshield glass, which is very funny for some reason.
That. Yeah,
I just watching that, like
just crunching down on some windshield glass.
Chowing windshield glass, and that's, I don't know why, that's inherently very amusing.
Yeah, it is. Well, anytime anybody chews glass, it's gonna be funny.
Yeah,
like that scene in Oz.
Yeah, or any Takashi Miike film.
Yes.
Okay, so Denzel refers to a shotgun as a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
So that's fun. And anyway, they end up losing him, and he goes to a mall. Sid.
Yeah.
And here's where this scene was in the trailers, and it's the most memorable scene in the film. Russell Crowe just strutting through a crappy mall to the tune of Staying Alive in this blue fucking suit, like almost international Yves Klein blue.
Yeah.
And that was the point at which I was like, oh, this guy is really something. Like I liked him in Quick and the Dead, but this guy, like, when he's given something to do, this guy fucking pops.
Right.
And I was not wrong.
No, it turned out Russell Crowe did some things in Hollywood.
Yeah, turns out pretty successful actor and leading man.
Mm-hmm. Who'd have thought?
Me,
so he goes.
Oh,
well, good job.
Yeah.
This scene in the TV store. He goes to the TV store and he starts flipping on televisions with his face on them because he's on the news, and this makes him very happy.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of the few times they tried to be like, look, we're in a dystopian future, because the other TVs had a UFC game match on, and this was long before UFC and mixed martial arts became super popular. It was like pretty underground then.
This would have been like UFC 2 or something.
Yeah. There were definitely fans. I mean, it was definitely a popular sport, but it was not a mainstream sport that you would see on TV. At least not, it would be a pay-per-view, I would think.
No.
So I felt like they were using the UFC brand, but they were trying to show this is like a violent society. But the fact that they used the UFC brand, it just seemed like they were watching sports.
Yeah.
Because UFC is popular now, and it's hard to separate
good point.
reality.
Hadn't thought of that. Like, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. They're trying. Okay. I did not infer this society is especially violent because I'm so used to UFC being a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like on at family restaurants when you go to restaurants.
yeah, I mean, I know.
Maybe it means we're a hyper-violent society.
I know like a half dozen people who do fucking MMA shit. Yeah.
I got to think, if they hadn't used the UFC brand, if they just, which I think they had to because they had to get the Let's Get Ready to Rumble dude.
Yeah.
But if they'd just shown people in cage matches, I think it would have been a lot more impactful.
Yeah.
Of course, maybe that's because who would have known that
Yeah,
MMA would get so popular.
That's a hindsight 2020 thing, maybe.
Right. Yeah, maybe at the time it was more effective. I don't know.
Yeah, so he kills this rando with King Buzz O'Hare in the mall.
Yeah.
And sees UFC on TV, which is a few blocks away. So he goes to the UFC because the guy on the TV is saying billions of people are watching this.
Right.
And then he kills a dude at UFC.
And then hits on a girl because for some reason he's an AI that's horny. I guess it's all the horny serial killers inside of him.
Sure, why not? And a fucking security guard with a shotgun blows his hand off.
Security guard got his chops in. You got to give that guy.
Yeah,
credit.
I mean,
He's one of the few. It took Denzel a whole movie, but he did a lot more work in his 10 seconds of screen time than Denzel.
Yeah, guy's like, I blew his fucking hand off and he just ran away.
This is a part that stuck with me for later. At some point in this scene, he grabs a full-sized man, throws him from the back of the arena into the cage, basically, and then never demonstrates that strength again.
No, not once.
Especially not in his fight with Denzel, where he should have just been able to throw Denzel off the building.
Yeah. Yeah, that is absolutely true. I think they forgot he had super strength.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. Denzel's chasing him through the UFC shit. Who cares? They run
It's a boring scene.
Yeah, they run through the fucking train station down there, which you might remember from Collateral. The one nod at it being the future for, like, I don't know, the last half of the movie is that there is an announcement I overheard from the subway train saying that the subway tunnel to Catalina is closed due to the earthquake.
Huh.
And Catalina's an island, and there's no subway.
Catalina wine mixer.
You gotta take a subway, or you gotta take a ferry, right?
A boat.
Yeah. So then Denzel shoots a woman. Except it turns out he didn't shoot a woman.
Yeah. Sure looked like he did.
Yeah, it really definitely was shot like he did. So then he gets taken back to prison. At which point we have a flashback.
Screaming, I didn't kill that woman.
Yeah. And this is the point at which we get the real flashback to Denzel's family's death. He's a cop. He's chasing this political serial killer who is being interviewed by a news team. And it turns out that this guy has taken Denzel's family hostage. Denzel goes to rescue them. He opens a door that they're behind, and there's a bomb triggered by a laser. Ricky Grimes, I think, was the name of the
Matthew Grimes.
Matthew Grimes. Okay.
Rick Grimes, once again, is the sheriff from Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. Don't dead, open inside.
Yes.
So the bomb kills his family and blows Denzel's arm off, and then Denzel shoots the terrorist guy and then shoots the news team.
Yeah, he's a good guy though. He has killed a lot of people.
Look, he was surprised when the news people who were there were there.
Also, him walking in with his arm blown off, and it's clearly like strapped to his side in an oversized shirt. Like when you're a kid and you stick your arm in your shirt and like, oh, I lost my arm. Yeah,
he's clearly half again as wide as he should be. And then you cut to the outside of the. You cut back to Denzel in the prison transport, and the guards in front are dead. And Sid has hijacked it and frees him.
Yep. just because he needs his opponent, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess if you're based on a video game, basically, maybe that makes sense. I get what they're going for. It seems dumb. You think he would just want to be able to kill people freely?
Yeah, you'd think so. You know, I don't know. It's that's at least a vaguely clever way to do something. It saved him having to shoot another action sequence or something,
Yeah.
or come up with a way for Sid to hijack the truck.
Yeah.
Like we're stuck in flashback land. Oh shit! Now we're in the present. And then they play a live song, which
Yeah, that's for our buddy Sean.
Sorry, Sean. I know you like him.
I
my thing.
I like him too. I think I liked
Really?
him back in the time. I mean, I didn't dislike him.
Huh. I mean, that goes with your enjoyment of Creed.
I do love me some Creed,
And I'm not saying that as a joke or anything. They're very similar.
not as good though.
I'm gonna leave that to you. I mean, I don't like either of them, so that's your call to make. Hey, now you know
I love
a
me some
song.
Stapp. I'm a big Stapp head.
You know a song in this movie that is good?
What?
30 Odd Foot of Grunts, which is on the radio when Sid shows up to kidnap Kaylee Cuoco. That's his band. Russell Crowe's band.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the song. Let me look real quick.
You just said it was 30 Odd Foot of Grunts.
Is the band. I don't remember the name of the song that they played.
Oh.
There was also a video which was shot on location. And
By the way, IMDb has a list here of Russell Crowe's movies ranked.
Sure.
Virtuosity is 39. There are 49
40?
total.
Okay. What's below it?
No Way Back, 95. Winter's Tale, 2014.
Oh, I think that movie was fucking roundly regarded as insane bullshit.
Breaking Up, 97 with Salma Hayek.
Huh.
Love in Limbo, 93.
Okay,
Poker
fair.
Face, 22. The Crossing, 1990. The Mummy, 2017. Prize Fighter. Hammers of the Anvil. Heaven's Burning, and then Virtuosity at 39. His number one, which I think I agree with, is LA Confidential.
Yeah, fair. I'm
Love that movie.
I think I would. That might not be his best performance, but I think it's my favorite of his performances.
Yeah, I love him, his old bud.
Yeah.
Dumb, stupid bud.
Stupid fucking Bud White. Poor guy.
Maybe we should have just done like a crime movie podcast.
God. We could have had Mike on. Mike would have been on board for that.
Yeah.
Maybe more than this concept.
Maybe once we go through all the Cyberpunk stuff.
Yeah. It turns out the song was called The Photograph Kills.
Oh, look at this photograph. Another band I love.
Yeah. Again, that's very much in the same vein as Creed and Live.
Nickelback, Creed, and Live are in the same vein to you.
Yeah, 100%.
I disagree.
How
Maybe
so?
some listeners will weigh in on that.
I would love it if they would, because, boy, they do occupy... Yeah, they definitely are. So anyway, Sid shows up and kidnaps Kaylee.
I mean,
Cuoco.
just in the fact that they're bands you don't like. Is that the vein?
I mean, that's it. That's part of it. Also, they have some similar lead singer stuff going on, just in terms of vocal affectations.
Raw sexual magneticness.
That
Nobody's
Eddie
ever
Vedder
described
thing.
The lead singer of Live like that.
Oh yeah, that's it, with Ed Kowalczyk, something like that, with his fucking rat tail and shaved head.
I see Live and Creed. There's a lot of religious imagery. I do not see how Nickelback fits into it at all.
I think music and vocal wise, it's really purely about the music and the vocal tics of the lead singers. Like they are not very far apart from each other.
I just don't. I don't see that with Chad Kroger or whatever his name is.
Okay,
I don't feel like he's got that Eddie Vedder thing as much. It's a different kind of growl.
I
Anyway.
don't think he has it as much as either Live or fucking Creed. But
How could you forget that name of the band Creed? We just spoke about it when we weren't talking about the band earlier in the movie.
I know. You're right.
It's a Creed heavy ep.
Good God.
Let's get through this so I can fucking edit it and post it immediately.
So, okay. Sid kidnaps Kaylee Cuoco. William Devane shoots the computer that's going to blow up Denzel's brain.
Right. That was so stupid to me.
Yeah.
Like that's how all you had to do is just walk in and
throw a chair through the monitor.
Forsythe, I believe.
Or is it William Forsythe? I thought it was Bill Devane.
It's William Forsythe on IMDb.
Oh, okay. You're right. William Devane is the guy from Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight.
Yes, and Adam Devine is another actor.
Yes, that's true. Took me a minute to place him, but yes, he is.
Anyway.
Oh, it'd be great in this movie? Keith.
Keith would rule in every movie, let's be honest, including Schindler's List.
Honestly, I would take Keith as either the Denzel part or the Russell Crowe part.
Keith is definitely the character from Righteous Gemstones that I identify with the most. When he pulls up in the church van, like blasting thrash metal.
Yeah. Or is doing a under an overpass rave.
Oh, I finished that show yesterday. It was a good season.
That part, I think it was towards the end of the first season where they go to the Satanist club.
Yeah.
and Keith had to interact with his former buddies.
Yeah, all the goth dudes.
Is just so fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith needs a spin-off.
I would watch every second of it on repeat. Okay. Okay, so Kelly Lynch catches up to Denzel at his family's grave, obviously. She's like, I guess you can avenge them because, as you might remember, the guy who set you free is also the political serial murderer who killed my family.
I can't move on yet. There's also the scene from this season when he's spinning the fireball.
Yes.
Can I give a confession?
Yes, please.
I watched that episode really
rock
fucking
hard.
high. No, I was high on a fucking pot gummy that I don't take very often, and I took a little too much, so that episode was a blur. And that particular scene stands out.
Oh, I bet.
Because I can kind of piece the episode together afterwards. I don't remember why he was doing that or why he was in that black leather outfit.
Does it fucking matter? No, it doesn't.
As I was watching it, I thought it was maybe a dream. It was fucking crazy, and everybody should watch that episode and eat a gummy.
I think you had the perfect amount of clarity for that. Honestly, you were exactly right. I mean, yeah.
Oh, Righteous Gemstones. I miss you. I hope you come back for another season.
It has been renewed for a season 4.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay, so Kayla Lynch catches up with Denzel. There's this anti-immigration rally / debate. I don't know. It's not really clear what it is, but it's on TV. And so Sid saw a thing on TV about how it was going to be watched by however many million people. So
the fact that they were trying to shoehorn these political things in just really made it awkward. Like you're so used to politics in our cyberpunk because they're kind of...
It's inextricable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the punk part.
And it was literally being used as background.
Yeah, it's set dressing stuff. Yeah, and they didn't even do real set dressing.
No, it was so...
It's frustrating.
Awful, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Take a stand on it. If you're going to put it in there, take some time to fucking stand.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the script for this movie just had insert some sort of political debate thing here.
Yeah.
So then we cut to the TV station and you see Sid walking into the camera control room, and it turns out he had time to print up a patch for his jumpsuit that says Sid 6.7 on it. So it's pretty cool that instant printing
bothered me. I guess he's got nanobots. Maybe that's the excuse.
Pretty cool that on-demand printing is available.
Did he go sew that up? That was so fucking dumb.
Yeah,
and I think that's when I texted you how dumb this movie was.
Yeah, and he also had time to make a CGI Death TV insert.
Yeah, a whole like a whole late night animated thing. That I guess if you're an AI, you can do that a lot faster. But they definitely didn't show him sitting down at Adobe Premiere or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Then he shoots the native guy.
Yeah,
who's like, now, if we want to talk about immigrants, let's think about a little group called the Pilgrim. Bang! His head is blown off.
Yeah.
And then we establish, oh no, Kaylee Cuoco is a hostage. She's going to be killed in 2 hours, I think.
Yeah. Kelly Lynch sees this and she's like, and she cries.
Yeah. So they go to the TV studio building, which is a skyscraper, and they find out, I guess it's on the 38th floor. I don't know. Like, it becomes confused here. I think I was probably a little too drunk at this point. Speaking of which, so the only time Denzel's cyberarm gets used in this movie up until now, which is 15 minutes from the end,
they did like in the prison fight. It was used.
He uses it as a ram to charge through a bunch of glass because technically he's
I did not even put that together.
Yeah, he's still on the run from the police, even though the police chief guy shot the TV. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So,
I didn't even put that together because he charges through the glass fist first, and I just remember thinking that looks really. Is he punching? I forgot at that point that his arm was metal.
Yeah,
because they had not mentioned it.
This was the point at which I went, oh yeah, his arm is metal. So he's getting chased by the cops.
At any point, he could have smashed like a car door off, or he could have used it for something to remind us he's a cyber dude.
That would take special effects.
Yeah, I guess.
So then outside watching the TV broadcast on some TVs outside of the TV studio, Kelly Lynch sees Lindenmeyer and sticks a gun in his ribs and captures him. And there was also a scene earlier where he was hanging out in a shitty hotel. I don't know.
Don't even remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't important. So she calls the chief and they get the phone lines cut and the ratings cut from the TV studio because Russell Crowe's having a good time. Like, hey, what if I kill this guy? Look at when I stick a gun in his mouth and the ratings go up and whatever.
Yeah.
Fun times.
That's how ratings work.
Yeah. And then he gets angry because the phone lines are cut. And then
in my mind, I'm thinking, well, maybe you shouldn't have let your fucking main protagonist go, whatever.
Yeah. So then Denzel shows up and shoots at him a whole bunch, like a bunch.
Yeah, a lot of shooting at this point. We're hitting climax time here, so there's going to be a lot of shooting.
Yeah.
The climax kind of doubles. It's annoying.
Yeah. So then he does some more kind of fun Looney tuning in the chase, like they're chasing around the building and I don't know, up on top of the roof, and it's a really bad fight. Like it's just not choreographed. And the cops are shooting at them both from a fucking helicopter with machine guns, which is fun.
I haven't spoken about it as much as I was thinking in the movie, but there are so many obvious T2 references.
Oh yeah,
and including the helicopter, which almost seems like an homage. It's shot so similar.
Yeah,
not to mention,
are right.
I feel like a lot of times Sid 6.7 was doing like a Robert Patrick impersonation of T1000.
God damn,
it's very trying hard to be T2.
Absolutely fucking right. I had not put that together at all, but fuck, you are dead on.
It's funny doing this podcast. I'm seeing how many of these movies from the mid-90s especially were trying to capitalize on what Terminator 2 did.
Well, T2 was like the
It was
biggest
phenomenal.
fucking movie of all time at that
I remember
point.
I was
Yeah.
all in on it. So
I mean, hey, why don't we take a minute and jam You Could Be Mine?
all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Mandatory You Could Be Mine break.
So, yeah, the guys in the helicopter are machine gunning them. It's a very bad fight. Just not well.
And they're
choreographed or
right
anything.
over little baby Kaylee Cuoco.
Yeah.
And she never screams or
She does. I noted that later in the movie. And she does have a gag.
oh, she's gagged. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, wait, wow, I don't know about that. So Denzel, I don't know. There's this whole thing bouncing off a roof and crashes through a window. And Sid 6.7 lands on this weird glass sculpture. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. What a coincidence that the guy who regenerates using glass is killed by a bunch of glass.
Yeah, and then my next line is, Parker is too stupid to remember that glass is like Sid's whole fucking thing.
Yeah, he has specifically, on multiple occasions, looked at a hole in glass, run his fingers over it, contemplated it, and then moved on. And he guess he never put that together.
Yeah. So Sid is about to get up and kill him some more when Parker pulls out the cool module thing, Crystal D12.
Yeah, like Mortal Kombat combats it out of his skull.
Yeah.
I will say I did like we talked about how the CGI was good for the nano stuff. And this scene, although you could tell it was dated, was pretty cool how he was all like dismembered.
Yeah.
And then his body starts to knit itself back together using the glass. This little bit of CGI. Was
it's pretty cool. So yeah, he pulls out the module, but we're like, where's the fucking girl, dude? Come on. You never saved the girl. So then it cuts back to 5 minutes ago.
Just when you think the movie's over.
Yeah. And Sid wins the fight. But it turns out it's VR. So he pulled that module out, and then because they couldn't find Kaylee Cuoco, they went to the VR warehouse place, wherever that was.
They got a lot done in about 45 minutes.
Plugged the module in. Denzel jumped in to the VR, rebooted Sid to 10 minutes before he died or something. And they're having this fight on the roof, and he throws Denzel off the roof, and Denzel dies. Oh, no.
Theoretically, they had to like program this whole office building. And
So they get out of it, like where Kaylee Cuoco is. And then Lindenmeyer, the AI inventor guy, knocks William Devane over with the VR chair.
William Forsythe. This was like I said, that character, whose name is William Cochran, was one of the more likable ones.
Chief
he's on
Cochran.
Denzel's.
Yeah.
He's like Denzel's best friend, basically.
Yeah.
And he's on his side the whole time. And we're following him a bunch, and then he's just unceremoniously killed off screen.
Yeah. With first he gets knocked over by the weird VR chair thing.
Yeah.
And then Lindenmeyer killed him with what is very clearly a rubber pipe.
Yeah.
It's like, it's literally half a step from making boing noises.
This could have like been a moment. Like Denzel could have witnessed his friend being killed. No, it's just, he just comes back. He's like, oh, my friend's dead. Oh, well, let's go rescue this kid.
Yeah. So then Kelly Lynch kills Lindenmeyer and frees Denzel. Oh, and Lindenmeyer had been jacking up the fucking biofeedback, whatever, the thing from the beginning.
Different kind of jacking up than was happening in this room previously.
Yes, also true.
Mr. Pocket Pool.
Denzel pulls out the Sid module, and then goes to free Karen. She's in this big fan thing on top of the fucking
and Kelly Lynch is about to open the door to rescue her daughter, and Denzel's like, wait,
he does fucking booby trap shit. So he goes,
is that a booby trap? I don't know why.
Get at me, IRA mummies.
It felt like a CVS banger moment.
Dude, you would not believe how much our
I believe it.
our second session this summer, we were having to commute 45 minutes each way. And CVS Bangers got a lot of fucking play after.
It's an internet classic.
Yeah. Nobody else in the car knew anything about it, so I was getting to introduce them to it.
The people who love CVS Bangers we're a rare breed, but we all get something that nobody else gets. I don't know what that is.
I made some new fucking fans. Is they Dominican?
All right.
Okay, so
mark that cough down to edit out. Jesus.
Yeah, please do. Sorry. So they go back to the building. Denzel shoves his arm into the fan. It's the first time that the metal
remember he's
arm...
got a metal arm.
Yeah, right. You had already forgotten from 10 minutes ago because it's just never been a thing. But yeah, he jams his arm into a giant fan. And
what a missed opportunity to give him like a cool looking cyber arm.
Yeah. Instead, it's just some tubes. I don't know.
Oh yeah, he uses the tube to defuse the bomb, and they make you think that he failed, but he didn't fail.
Yeah, Sid made this cool bomb thing where he's just taunting. Let's go faster.
I thought about one too.
Yeah. And the arm still works fine, by the way. We see him using it without repairing it, like in the next scene.
He definitely rips a tube out that probably had some function.
You would think so, but he seems to have full motor function and everything. So whatever. So yeah, then he disarms the bomb, gets Kaylee Cuoco out, and throws the Sid disc off the building, and then cut to 10 seconds of Lords of Acid, and then a Peter Gabriel track?
You hung out longer than I did, buddy.
Like, literally, the credits start, and it's like 10 seconds of Lords of Acid. I don't remember which song it is. And then it cuts to...
Probably talking about their vaginas, if I had to guess. It's kind of what they usually talk about.
Yeah, Pragacon's got a thing. And then it goes to a Peter Gabriel singing thing, which is a lot like the Peter Gabriel singing thing from Strange Days. He had a big year. And that's the end of the movie, and it's a movie.
Hey, you lasted longer than me. When those credits rolled, I hit that stop button and moved on.
Oh, I mean, that was within 20 seconds. That was me finding the remote.
Okay.
Maybe blowing my nose and then being like, okay, that's it. Thank God.
Well, we're about to hit a tight 90 just on what we've recorded today. So,
oh boy,
we need
this
to hustle
movie
on out of here.
Let's be real clear. This movie did not deserve any of this. I'm going to give it a 2 in every category.
2 in every category? Let's just go through them real quick because
All right.
I like to. Story, 2 is fair. Influence, 2 is...
2 is generous. I'm going to give that a 1 in influence. This is by a huge margin the most forgotten thing we've covered, and I am counting Cyber Vengeance. I think more people who saw Cyber Vengeance remember Cyber Vengeance than people who saw Virtuosity remember Virtuosity.
I think I got more enjoyment out of Cyber Vengeance than this.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Is this the worst thing we've covered? God.
I
remembered it fondly. It's so strange.
It is in the conversation.
It is. Prescience, not really anything. Style,
no.
I think 2 is fair for style.
Okay, 2 is fair. 1 for Denzel's fucking plastic cop uniform in the opening scene, and also the braids,
and the staying alive number, maybe,
and the Russell Crowe in a suit staying alive. 2.
Yeah, that's its 2 points, and then hand raisers, I'm giving it 1.
Yeah, I'm honestly, can we go 0 hand raisers? Is that an option?
There's no rules.
Yeah, 0 hand raisers for me.
I need to write these numbers down. Yeah, it did not deserve this episode, which is a shame because we remembered it more fondly than this.
I really, really thought it would be better. I wasn't thinking it'd be as good as Giant
And it wasn't
Mnemonic.
bad in a campy way like Cyber Vengeance had.
Yeah,
Cyber Vengeance had its moments with like what's his name, Southern accent and stuff.
Yeah,
this tried that. Like
Terra Serpico.
Yeah, Russell Crowe was trying to do something, and he we've talked about it enough
Yeah.
at this point, but he just didn't do it.
Yeah, I
And
was
Denzel was
really-
just too Denzel for this fucking movie.
I was really, really hoping that we'd like watch it and it'd be something like Johnny Mnemonic, where we're like, oh, it turns out this was really fucking cool and fun, but it really wasn't. I mean,
No.
it's I mean, I guess there's a reason that I watched Johnny Mnemonic multiple times between 1995 and 2023.
Yeah. Well, Johnny Mnemonic was working off of really incredible source material, and this source material was every other bad action movie for the last 15 years. So
Yeah, it could have been a sequel to Cobra.
yeah.
For all we care. I mean, yeah.
Well,
Okay. Well, fuck it.
You guys check us out on social media. We do have a voicemail from Sean, but I am not set up to play them, so I can't play it right now,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Okay.
We have a different setup than our other show. I should have just played it on that show.
Yeah, it would have been smart. Hey, speaking of our other show, thank you to Sue for coming up with the answer to the Shriner question that's been bothering us for 8 fucking years.
Yeah, I believe Gina Fattori has mentioned something similar, but Sue posted an article that really broke down.
Yeah, Gina said that it was, she thought it was some camera guy or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sue, who go back through our Creek of the Week Twitter.
It's the last RT on as of today. I don't think I'm going to tweet much from that account for a while.
Good point. Yeah, so she solved an 8-year-old riddle for us. Thank you so very much, Sue. That was amazing. Thank you for finding it. You were a hero greater than all the 9/11 heroes.
Yes, the Shriner has plagued us since we started podcasting.
Yes.
And if you don't know what that means, then that means you're a high-tech low-life listener, and you're fine. You don't need to know.
I mean, if you want to check out Creek of the Week, feel free.
I think we mentioned at the beginning.
We got a lot of weird bits.
All right. Thanks for hanging in there for this tight 2 hours again of bullshit. So
yeah, it was definitely fucking bullshit.
I don't have an end quote for this episode.
The only thing that I think I can come up with is death to the pigs. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Okay, I just saw a note that I made like halfway through that was not appropriate at the time to say. Just after they go to the place where the first murder scene, where death to the pigs is on the wall, and they see the Denzel is looking at the glass eaten.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured out what the movie should have ended with. Okay. The movie should have ended. Okay, Denzel throws fucking, Russell Crowe onto the big glass thing, just like it did, right?
Yeah.
But instead, like before Denzel can pull out the fucking thing, Sid becomes like a giant fucking glass-fueled Kaneda or Tetsuo tumor monster.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I mean, that would have been that would have changed this whole fucking movie in like the last 10 minutes, and it would have been fucking cool.
That would have been a powerful ending.
Yeah. Anyway, death to the pigs.
Yep, and gotta go.
Gotta go. Bye.
Bye.
This has been the High Tech Low Life podcast. Find us on Twitter at Johnny60seconds. Email us at hightechlowlifepodcast@gmail.com. And find us on Patreon at patreon.com/hightechlowlife. Theme music provided by Nia Lore at nialore.com. Thank you for listening.
Excuse me, Robo. Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
Stay out of trouble.
Dudes, I mean, I really wanted to leave a message at the High Tech Low Life website, but there's no SpeakPipe. Hi, SpeakPipe. I'm on SpeakPipe. SpeakPipe! I love you guys. I really love you guys. I'm really loving listening to you. I wish like you could have a speak pipe there, so more of your listeners and fans and Patreon listeners, the important ones, right, could call in and just tell you guys how much they love your show and how great it is to hear you guys. And just, I'm really looking forward to the Crow episode. I'm really looking forward to the Waterworld episode. Why don't you guys, I mean, if you're going to go off the rails like that, why don't you do an episode on, say, Sleepers or The Room? Or, I don't know, just, it's just something, yeah. Yeah. And when the hell am I coming back on? When are we going to do Tron Legacy? Huh? There's a third movie coming soon. Yeah. Well, anyway, enough about me. I'm calling to tell you guys how much I love you and just, how great it is that you're still doing this. And notice not a single expletive from me. What the actual hell? I'll leave that up to Josh. Like, seriously, he's taking over the drinking game. Love you, dudes. Peace.